morning. It's like 66 degrees, sunny, dry here in Boston. The kids are at the grandparents' house for the weekend. I'm a little drunk, so I figured it was time to do a full update on all the projects from this year. And I think what we're gonna do is just pull them out of the garden in the order that we did them, and we'll talk about them for a second. So yeah, this should be fun. Little tour, little check-in, little updates. It'll be awesome. I'm the Boston Bonsai Idiot. Come, tree with me. Ow! So keep all the dirt on it.
I think we're gonna head back. Okay,
Take me all the way. So as you can see, this thing, it totally pushed out all of its growth. If you can remember, we chopped off all of the long, vigorous, straight growth to leave all the weaker growth.
And a bunch of little spaghettis.
All the spaghetti. We left all the spaghetti. And everything pushed out leaves. Nothing really shot up in terms of real growth. This guy is fully new. But as you'll see with the other Norway maples, that is nothing compared to what they're able to do. Obviously, we just collected this thing. You know, I don't expect it to go crazy. I'm glad it's alive. I mean, you can see that the leaves are dealing with some kind of shit, but I think it's just had a tough time, you know, since I just collected it in the spring. And it's just showing signs of stress from that, but it's alive. So the update is it lived. This little guy, get this stupid little guy. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so the next thing that we did was work on 3 really crappy, smaller Norway maples. Let's just talk about them one by one. The big one here is Norway Maple number whatever. And the idea was we chopped a bunch of shit off right there so that this could become the leader. And I've let that grow just like I said it would. And it did. I'll talk about those leaves in a second. And I think the taper on that trunk is now just right. So my plan for next year is to chop it either right there or right there. I've got some leaf nodes in both of those places. So I think if I chop it right there, I can start actually building the canopy on this thing. I think it took well to the chop. It's really healing over nice. Maybe we'll start to do some sort of carving on that, but it's rolling over regardless. One thing I did differently this year is I pinched everything back. I didn't just let everything grow. So like this branch, for example, I pinched back at that node, and it didn't necessarily bifurcate, but it stopped growing out. And I think the scale of all the branches now, and there's a lot more than there were last spring, is a lot better. So, you know, I've got decent branching. The scale of the leaves is horrific, of course, but I'm liking this. And after the chop next year, I think it's gonna look pretty sick. And we're gonna have to repot it too. I'll keep pinching branches back as they grow, try to work on ramification, and then I'll chop that right there. And we'll have a nice little tree with some nice movement. All right, so then this guy, which was easily my worst Norway maple, has done pretty well. I mean, it's suffering from the same kind of issues as the other one, just not as bad. If this is a fungus or something, just let me know. I have no idea. And if you remember, what did we even do to this thing? Let's turn it around. I'm gonna turn it around here so we can see it better. There we go. So that's the original chop. And I think in the spring I had to pick what would potentially be the new leader. And I picked this thing. And if we compare it to an older video, you'll see that this thing thickened up like crazy just by letting it grow, I don't know, only 18 inches. But now I think we've got perfect taper. So now I've got to do another chop in the spring And maybe we'll chop it there. I don't know. You guys let me know. Maybe we'll chop it lower. I do have this guy right back here. And we could repot it to sort of recalibrate that angle. You know, like maybe it's kind of a leaning tree. Obviously these lower branches should probably all go. They're sort of technically all on the inside of a curve. First branch should be one of these. Maybe it's this guy, I don't know. But we'll see when we do the chop what wants to grow, and then we'll work from there. So yeah, this is turning out to be, let's call it halfway decent. Now this little whippersnapper here has really shot out and is pretty healthy. I had done a little bit of wiring, if you remember, in the first video or the previous video for this. What happened is a creature just wandered through the little garden at night and knocked off all the growth. So now that branch is dead, but I think that's okay. I think we gotta lose both those branches anyway. I think that's first branch, leader, and then we chop and start building a canopy. Cool movement. Go ahead, go. You can do what you want to do.
Hi. Going back.
So we chop and grow. My friends are here. Oh my God, you guys look wonderful. Well, getting too old for that shit. Where were we? Weed your garden. Okay, so basically, where we had left this guy was we had removed all of the strong, straight growth in favor of lots of weaker branches like this one. We wired the branches. And you can see the movement in this one and this one. There's one back here. I think this one right here was wired. It also shot out a whole bunch of new, I think this whole group that I'm holding, these guys right here are all straight and brand new. And then we kept essentially what was a trunk chop for a new leader potentially. And then we kept a very small, thin, little tiny branch with the idea that we can get some taper if we let that grow from here to here to here. And man, did that grow. So that plan worked out swimmingly. As you can see, there is a leaf node almost immediately after that, so I'll cut it back there next year and do the same thing and keep allowing this ramification to take place. This is a hard one to show because the leaves are just so huge, but I'm loving it. I don't care if it's crap. So the plan for next year will be to do that trunk chop right there, allow it to grow out again, maybe pinch it back, which is what I did with all of my Norway Maples this year, but repot too and expose even more of this trunk. This trunk probably goes down another ways into the soil with this same detail going all the way down. So yeah, this guy's a beast. I'm loving it. So that's it for now. Thanks for joining me. I'm tired.